because to me it's easy work. So, all right, y'all, we're gonna get rocking and rolling. So, let's share my screen. Is everybody logged into Rain? You can follow along.
Yep.
All right. Let's do it. All right, so we're here. All right. Bobby Joe came to me and said, Kara, I want you to sell 1328 millilake quarter. What can I get for it? So pulling up 1328 millilake. Remember, don't put the Sussex in there. Okay, and you want to do the most recent. So we move our faces out of the way. 2019, I'm going to click the top one. And just things to note, remember the subdivision, the price that they sold it at, that could give you an inclination on what their payoff is, right? So we just never know, but I always add when I print this payoff amount, so we don't forget that part when we do our seller net sheet. So ownership is simple. We have an attached dwelling, so townhouse down here, the style, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, 1,300 square feet. Not bad for a townhouse. And then, oh, we double checked, there is an HOA. So it's $26, a month. So in 19, there was new, and then it's on the water. So updated, ready to go. Beautiful kitchen, large windows, new appliances. Cool. Good to know. Okay, so we have this out, we have this printed. Just glance at the taxes. Cool. We have the same owner. This is the lady that called me. That's very important too, just to make sure you've got the right house for the right buyer, or excuse me, the right seller. So we will go up to search, residential. We want to make sure we're clicking pending and sold, just to glance at the pending, right? Possibility. Same column, we're going to click attached because it is a townhouse. All right. Far right column, coming down to the subdivision name. We're in Greenbrier. Make sure you click what is an option available so it generates. Okay, we've got 46 matches already. So we're going to come down to the property details. We're going to do 3. We're just going to plug in 3 for right now, not 3 plus. 1.5, right? So we'll go for between 1 and 2. 11 matches. Cool. Square footage. Let's make sure we're not looking at something too small or something way too big. So general rule of thumb, 200 above, 200 below. So 1100, because this one's 1301. So we'll go 15. Okay, 8 matches. Sweet. We're going to see what that has provided us. So click results. All sold. There is nothing active, and that's okay. They'll set the bar, right? So over here, just a glance for you guys. So a quick CMA for me. So this is what I do for my buyers as well. I come over here and I'm looking on this page. I don't create a full CMA unless my buyer wants it, which you never know. But I'm looking at the close price. I'm looking at the close date, making sure it is 6 months out, or the parameters that you've set on the search, the criteria screen. And you can always go back right up here at the tabs. So if you need to make sure that, see how far out these properties are, just make sure, click the map and they'll be able to show you where all of them are. Okay. So, but I'm looking at the close price, right? So 152, that's the lowest. Wondering if that one had any updates. Coming up, the highest 197, and that was back in December. So cool. We are looking okay. She bought it at 189.9. So maybe she put a huge down payment. We don't know, but this is your first step before, if you don't get that information. So, all right, pulling a full CMA. So we're going to go with, these are all really, 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 really close. So I'm looking at the square footage right now. So 1308 is exact, square footage. Make sure it's not a dump. You know, we click on it and we take a look at the pictures. Okay, it's a little dated with the wooded panels. Kitchen is updated though, so that's a plus. Kitchens and bathrooms, right? Those are what sell homes. Am I going too fast for y'all? We good?
We're good.
Okay, cool. So this one is very similar. And of course, I always look at your pictures first. So they've definitely done some updates, right? So it looks like this one was priced to sell quickly, you know, so in the market that we're in right now. That's what everybody wants, right? Oh, I didn't even see this one, like 135. What did this one? Why did this one go for so low? So we're looking at is that a typo? Let's see. Offer accepted. Beautifully renovated home. Okay. Why did it go for so low? I would question that. So on this, I would call the agent and say, hey, what happened to this? Your original price was 180 almost. And then you upped it to 195, and then your selling price was 135. So we'll contact that agent. We'll contact our Ann from First Class and say, hey, what happened? Why did this go for this? How many think that's a typo?
I would say it's probably a typo because you'd think an N unit and stuff would probably go for more. So
yeah, that's crazy.
And the limited photos, it didn't look too shabby either. So
No. And so this is another thing that I look at too when I'm looking. Look at the owner.
that was an investor.
That's an investor. That's a business. So you know a business is buying a property, they're flipping it, 9 times out of 10. So cool. Well, that makes it a little bit difficult, right?
Yeah, but don't you have enough other comparables to kind
You
of
do.
really set the price anyways? I mean, like
You do.
I'd probably discount that one until I knew the story.
Yep. I was just gonna do that. So good job, Mike. So we'll highlight, these higher ones. It looks like, and they're actually a little bit smaller, right? And they're priced higher. So it's a good thing for this seller, soon to be seller. So we'll do 5 solds. I want to make sure that 1301 is in there. We'll do the lowest. Let's see. Did we double check this one? Oh, we don't have any more pictures. Well, let's see the note. Will not qualify for owner occupant. Tenant occupied. Okay. For right now, we will include it. All right, cool. CMA. Click your seller or add them from this page. Go to pages. Add and delete whichever pages you want. Remember, kind of gauge your seller and what they want to know. If they just want to know what's the price, you don't have to include all these pages. If they really want to know the nitty gritty and the why and the how and the who and the what, add as many as you want. Okay, and then you can always, if you want your pro report at the very top, put at the very top. So, next page, subject. I use the tax number, very, very easy. So the MLS number, right here is 102-888-27. This way it fills from the previous listing. And in our case, that's a good thing because it's just 2 years old. So make sure it's filled out how you want. I generated all the information from the previous listing. And if you think something's off, double check it with the taxes. Like square footage, if it's in the notes that say, hey, the square footage is per the seller, double check. So our cover, Cover page is all pretty. Your information's correct. Your client's information, as much as you have, is on there. Comparables, these are the ones that we selected. Check it out on the map. Close enough. Hope so. It's labeled in the same neighborhood. Cool. So we're going to go through and match it up. Look, all these have one full bath and one half bath. That hardly ever happens. So one of these times I'm going to give us a difficult one. That'll be next time. And just go through, make sure it adds up. If it doesn't, make your adjustments up here at the top in the spaces that it's provided. So obviously mine generate already. So if there's a difference in beds, do $5,000, half baths are 25 to 3,000. Just making sure. So make sure, like when you're checking it out too, like central air, it's the same. We're not dealing with window unit versus central AC and stuff of that nature. They all have fences. Some of them have fireplace. Cool. Cool. And they're all within, 200 square feet of each other. So sweet. Next to pricing. So per the algorithm and the average here, looking at 181, 980. So yeah, your highest is that highest at 197. Per rain, the comparable price 185, 142. Do you guys agree?
I mean,
how are we going to advise this person? Yeah. How would you?
I would say that, it is not worth any more than what she paid for it, a year ago. If anything, that was probably what I would advise, to start at what she paid for it. I don't think it's worth any more. I mean, unless she's updated it more than what was there. But when you look at the photos of the listing, the kitchen had laminate type countertops versus, granite or stone of some sort, or quartz, and didn't have the pop that a couple of the others had. So
but look at, we're in the market, Mike. Here, I'm gonna act like the seller, but this market is so hot. Why can't we just start at the highest at 197?
Certainly can, but you're also risking your exposure. If you price it right, you could end up in a multiple offer situation where it'll drive the price up anyway.
Good point. Good job. Tammy, what do you think? What would you price this house at?
Give me just a second. I'm trying to listen to you plus handle kids too.
Oh,
so I'm kind of just,
you're good.
kind of following along.
No, you're fine. Adam, what about you, hon?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Jordan's class is still going on. I don't mean to be impolite. I apologize.
No, you're good. I didn't know Jordan's class was going on.
I apologize.
You're good. We'll just keep going. Y'all can review this after. If you got any questions about price, just let me know.
What would you recommend for a price?
I would go, if she's like, Kara, I have to get this house sold, I'd really dig into the pictures and what she's done, and or say her payoff is, I don't know, 183. Rule of thumb, we're timesing what she needs to sell by 10%. That's 6% commissions, the cap, and some closing costs of her own. So to calculate, if at that 183,
I got about 205, 206.
So, I tell her, look, we just couldn't get it done compared to, what the market value is right now. The highest we could get you probably 190, to just based on, your updates and things of that nature to the property. So yeah, this happens a lot. You know, when you guys do this, still provide this to that interested seller and, you know, let them know, hey, this is the current, this is as of February 2nd, by the way. Hey, February. You know, and kind of just say, hey, keep this and let's chat. You know, I can give you, you know, a monthly update if you want, you know, because say her situation was like dire. She needs to, you know, sell this and whatever her situation is, you know, you could shoot the conversation of short sale, you know, and see if that's an option, see what her hardship is, see, you know, if she could bring in money to closing. You know, every seller is different. So those, don't think that this is, you know, the stopping point. You know, talk to them and say, well, if you had to come out of pocket at closing, how much could you? You know, is it $5,000? Is it $100? You know, what is it? So, because I've had a couple of sellers that had to come out of pocket at closing, but they were like, get this property out of my name. You know, they're like, goodbye, we don't care. So those are options for you. And if you have the opportunity and if you have any questions about short sales, you know, I'm gonna, you know, hopefully we can pitch, you know, to do a short sale class or have one of our attorneys do a quick short sale class, because it is very important, you know, for those sellers that have suffered from this pandemic or whatever they're suffering from, or their hardship, they have to move, their military, whatever it is, you know, those are still options. So that was your quick CMA today. Any questions of anything that I just went over?
Nope.
That really seems to be, you just got to make sure that your proximity to the subject property isn't, you know, out of whack, and that
Mhm.
you're trying to get apples to apples, because
Yes.
if you got to go apples to oranges, it's a lot more work and a lot harder to
It
justify.
is. And I'm going to make sure next class I kind of dig in deeper to that, because here in this market, you don't really have that. But if you're dealing with more land, and that's why I kind of want to just show you guys the search for land is different. You know, when you're dealing with land and then you're dealing with higher square footage, or it doesn't compare, you've got a 3,000 square foot home and the rest are for 2,100 or 2,300, you know, you got a little bit more work to do, you know, as far as adjustments and or going out of the realm, and that's easy. So that's a quick adjustment to, it's not subdivision anymore, it'll be mileage, so half a mile out, you know. So but if we're dealing with like farmland and, you know, 5 to 10 plus acres and horses and crops and everything of that nature, then that's kind of when we dig a little deeper, and our range, our search range is a lot wider. So just want to start it off easy though.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see situations that exist out there that, you know, where the average size of a home in a neighborhood, say 1,800 to 2,300 square foot, but somebody's done a 700 square foot addition, and, you know, no other comparable in the market, you know, in their area is there. So like, how do you do a
Yeah.
CMA on something like that? Because I mean, the house could be overpriced for that neighborhood, right? So
Right, absolutely. And that's when you're calculating, you know, the price per square footage at that point. You know, the appraiser's going to see, all right, well, we're not going 5 miles out to get a comparable here. You know, we can try and at least find one or two, but you know, that's you know, in a different situation, you know, like the rare gem out there. You know, and if they're just that unicorn that stands out, you know, then that's okay. You know, your price, when you set it, you know, you're going off of square footage at that point. Every little bit, you know, counts. Because at that point, if you're 700 square feet above your competition, I mean, you're looking at 20 to 30 grand difference, you know, and probably more, you know, and so the appraiser's going to be like, hold on.
right.
So, and if you want, you know, get with an appraiser or advise your clients to get an appraisal done before you list, you know, because you know, the appraiser could see or price something different, you know, and that's when the relationships between you and the appraiser matter. So build that relationship with the appraiser, or, if you need an appraiser contact, let me know. It's very important to be on the same page as them. So because what we don't want to have happen is, you, even if you guys advise me and I agree with you on the price, and, Jordan agrees with you on the price, and we're listing and we're 25 to 30K over, we're not the appraiser. So definitely advise your client to get an appraisal done first if they can, just to see where they're at, because that's important to them too. They've dumped all this money into adding, and now they're the rare gem in the neighborhood, and it's hard to say, hey, this is what you're valued at based on nothing. Based just on numbers and square footage. So
would that be a situation then where you would do a CMA, and the setup for the CMA then would be, what I really think you need to do is invest in a professional appraisal before we set a listing price to put the house on the market. And here's why: because you've got X that no other comparable in the market has, and here's this other, so to set a market value, it's in your best interest to have a professional appraisal look at the comparables that he can justify, because that's what the bank's going to be looking at.
Yep. If you do not feel confident in your sale price, if you have any hesitation, absolutely. 100%. I had my North Carolina listing. It's still out there, but my situation, the house was built in 1880. So that takes a huge effect on the price. It's a 4-1 and it's roughly 1,300 square feet, but that 1880 kills the price. So I had them get an appraisal done for sure, because I didn't want to price them in the 200s and, somebody come out and be like, absolutely not, so I just keep it real with my clients and say, look, this is a huge gap as far as we're comparing to homes built in the 1950s, and this one's 1880. So, it's the same situation. If you've got a client, their home is updated and it's nice, but per the tax, it was 1950 and their comparables are 2020. Right there, it's, 40 to 45 grand knocked off because of the year.
Right.
So, yeah. So just, if you've got something extreme like that, just reach out to us. And then if we're just like, hey, let's get an appraisal done, it's $500 to have it, so we can prove it to the buyer as well. Once you go to sell and say, look, as long as that appraisal says, yep, this is the value, you're good to go. Get it on the market and advise your clients to provide that if they're comfortable with that, to say, look, we want this price and this is why. So I know a lot of sellers that do get the appraisal, it's put out there, hey, we've done our due diligence as a seller for this market, and this is what you're going to get and what you're going to pay for it. So good question. Yeah, we'll definitely dig into more difficult properties in the next coming months. And of course, if you've got something that come up, give me a call. We can walk through it and get you the best price for your client.
Word.
Everybody good?
Kara, ma'am, can I ask a quick question?
What's up, Adam?
I'm so sorry for being impolite and not listening earlier. So would you rather tell a client there's no true comp rather than go out, rather than compromise your criteria, like go out an extra mile, or, from your professional perspective, like, would you rather tell them there's no true comp, or is that just the most accurate, honest way to say it? Or
No, you can go out, and that's what you should do. As long as you're trying the subdivision, if nothing is just matching, go further. And you're definitely able to do that. Don't go anything crazy. Anything past 5 miles, especially in the area that we're in. If you can't find anything within 2 to 3 miles, then absolutely, get with another agent and kind of say, hey, can you get eyes on this for me and tell me what you think, if you're struggling with that. And then if, you guys are on different spectrums, if you have come to a value, but somebody else has something else, I would definitely, just be real with your seller and say, hey, look, you have a gem, your house doesn't really compare to anything. And I've had to go a certain mileage out. And what I don't want to have happen is the appraiser come in and knock us, for,
Love that. Yep. Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Yeah, definitely. It's okay to not know. We didn't build this house. So cool. We're going to go back to any questions on this? You guys good?
Yep, I'm good.
Awesome. We're going to do a quick land search. Clients will do a buyer situation, and it kind of, it's both sellers and buyers. Buyer says, hey, I want to build some land, or excuse me, I want to build a house on some land. I want to be out in, where do we want to be out in? Congo. I'm thinking of the places that have land. Let's be realistic. So what we'll do is come under search, land and farms. And as you guys can see, you have those other options as well. So say you've got somebody, hey, I want multifamily residential, right there. Okay, make sure you are searching under the right search bar. It makes a difference. Makes your life easier too. So land and farms. I'm gonna click sold. And our guy wants 10 plus acres. So we're gonna highlight under lot size, 10 plus acres, 10 to 15 acres. And we want to be in Pungo. So under subdivision name, type Pungo. There's nothing.
Oh,
Let's see if there's more. Nope. Less. So we're getting a couple, right? So we're gonna highlight multiple. So just control, you hold down the key control, and then you click. There we go. So 1.1 to 3 acres, we've got a little bit more. 3 to 5, we've got one. 5 to 10, we've got one. Okay. So we're gonna come down to results. We'll just see what's going on. Huge difference, right? 5 acres for 77.5. Is that? Let's see. No building on it. It went for 75 back in October. This guy got a steal
wow.
just for the land. Okay, so all these other ones, you say, hey, client, you gotta know your land client. They're way different, right? So if they want any land use, are you gonna farm it? Are you gonna hunt on it? Are you gonna just have recreational? Do you want timber? Do you want a farmer to farm your land, right? And that's the tax reduction. They don't pay taxes. So
Why wouldn't the agent put the zoning for the land in the listing? I mean, I would think that would be important, right?
yes, absolutely. Some of these people don't know though.
I mean, I know they got
An easy
uses
way to figure that
possible.
out, call the city. It's the easiest way to figure that out, call the city. There will be no really information that's public. You are allowed to know. So if you call about a certain property or land and say, hey, what is this zoned for? Can my client build on it? Can electricity and a septic and a well be put on this land if it's not already? Those are things that they can tell you 100%. You're doing the due diligence a little bit more for your clients for land because a lot of them know, but a lot of them don't know as well. So if they're just looking at, hey, I don't find any houses right now, I think we're just going to custom build. And we want to start with picking out our plot of land, kind of make sure this is your chance to advise them and say, look, we got to make sure the land usage is right. We got to make sure that, cable and internet and electricity and water and sewer can all be ran to this property, or how you're going to pay it, if it's going to be city, if it's going to be septic. So those are all things that go into land. If they're just wanting this piece of property to hunt on, make sure it's got trees, timber, it's got, what they need. So let's look at this. Let's just take a look at this one that sold. Chips Cabin Road. This one. So it's unimproved. You find that right here. So road frontage. So there's no road access here. So it's literally just land. And that's okay. You know, whatever your client needs or wants, these are the questions that you kind of need to prompt them with when someone comes to you about land. And trust me, we're all constantly learning about land. So
There's a ton of water on that land too, so.
yeah, there is. So my question would be, who does this house belong to? Who does this belong to? Is this shared? Is there water access? Does that go on my property line? You know, I mean, it's, the questions really are endless on land. So I'm learning a lot about land. So not to toot my own horn, but if you guys need help with land,
I
just
have
hear
a
me
guy
say-
that's
I'm
trying
doing
to sell a piece of land.
say that again.
We talked about that. I said, yeah, I have this guy that's been trying to sell this piece of land, and it's like it's a big piece of land, but
Mhm.
I don't know, nobody's biting on it right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, have you done like a complimentary CMA for him or anything?
No, so he says that he is an agent himself, and he just really just
Oh, it's
wants
that same guy. Yeah.
yeah, he just really wants to get rid of the land, and but I kind of just like have just been working on other things because
Gotcha. I know, girl. Yeah, those. Yeah, if someone comes to you, you know, Na's had a situation to where she reached out to a for sale by owner, and it was just a land, piece of land, and it's in Virginia Beach. And where is it? Nas, it's like off of Sandbridge or something.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not far from there. It's in a nice area.
Yeah. So he's looking to get what in the $500,000, something like that for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hopefully an agent one and a seller, a landowner knows how to properly price their lot, of course.
Right.
You can either go off of acres. A lot of them go off of acres and just land value itself. You know, a lot of them go off of the taxes from the city. So,
Hey, really quick, while we're on this page, can you scroll up a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, so you see where it says owner phone and owner name right there?
Mhm.
Is it normal for agents to put their information there?
please put your information there.
Okay, so it shouldn't be the owner, it should be the agent.
Yes,
So where do you find the owner's information at on this? You don't?
you don't.
Okay.
Unless you're, you know, got the My Plus leads or something, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
If you've got lead generator or something that could show you, you know, that person's
So the
email,
best thing to
phone
do
number.
with this when trying to find a name for this is to like search it in like some other
Mhm.
okay.
A lot of agents do like
Search
white pages search. You know, for this particular, if Chapman was the person that reached out to me, just make sure that matches, right? So we'll still review the taxes, still review the history. But here, Aaron Nichols.
Okay.
So did Aaron call me?
No.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
just make sure that you know the situation of this. And wow, see, according to this, according to the assessments and the taxes, that land isn't worth 75. But don't go off of this. That's why we don't. So it's recreational acreage. Yeah, and so this one, it's nice because down here at the bottom, utilities, electric's available, private water, sewers available, telephone available. That's nice to know. You know, road surface, there is a paved. So with a lot of the land too, you're going to utilize a lot of different resources. So Google Earth, right? Google Earth everything. And see, you know, make sure, was there a dwelling on that property before? Is there currently? You know, you can do a lot of research before you see a plot of land. Okay, so at one point, did they have horses? Did they have, you know, is the land subdividable? You know, so if it's more than 5 to 10 acres, ask the agent, do you know if this land is subdividable? And, and if, you have a client that's a builder or someone who wants to add farmland or whatever they want to do down the road, make sure that they are able to before anything. So it's kind of just the rundown of land. You're dealing with the acres, you're dealing with what's the going, right? So what are we paying per acre? Does it make sense? Is it overpriced compared to what has gone? So this is the only comparable for this one. So, we would have to dig a little bit deeper, so this is commercial use, COM, recreational, vacation. And so there is a building on this one. So just taking a glance, at what has come up, right? So when you're looking at the land, just take a peek at what's around it. It could be a perk for your client. It could not be. You just never know.
Oh.
Yes.
Kara, ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you know a lot about this subject, but there's this agent I was talking to. He networks with farmers and he converts their listings to their farm to listings. And so my question is, if you were going to price the property like a farmer's property for a listing appointment, without having done a neighborhood study or variance to find out if you have to build up, out, or how you're going to build on it, how would you price that? Just the tax records, or with the just based on the zoning? Or because I know there's so many contingencies, like if there's a ditch, the Army Corps of Engineers, that would be a big hurdle to jump over. I know you're the expert on it. I just wondered how you would price a listing appointment.
No, you got it. You're right on the money. Goes off of the acreage and what that acreage is doing. So if it's timber, you got to get with somebody who's knowledgeable on the price of timber and what what they're going to be utilizing it for and what that land has been used for. And that's and the going right around.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So with land, is it okay to go to take a larger subset too if you're looking for comparable properties, right?
Yes,
Can you
100%.
go older back in time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
that
say,
won't appreciate or depreciate as rapidly, right?
Yes. So just checking out the map, we're seeing how far out. So we're gonna draw.
But what was your time frame for listings and stuff? Did you do 6 months? Can you do?
Yeah.
But you could do a year for land and probably be okay.
I try not to mess with that one. Just if I can help it. Then I try 9 months, and then I try a year. If we're just not getting any matches. So you guys, easy switch right here. 270 for 90 days. So. And I messed with the map, so.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, like, because I know that would be difficult for the price of a built of a home, right? To go back 9 months to a year, but land is permanent, right? So
Absolutely.
at least it's supposed to be.
That's right. You are correct. So if you're going to be on the listing side, make sure you've got access to a videographer, a drone, get the correct property lines, get all the information beforehand, because when you're shopping for land, people are very, very, very specific. They know exactly what they want 9 times out of 10. Make sure you know that right here, that current use, possible use. It's very, very important. Again, the city's going to be your best friend. On the phone with everybody. And that's okay. I've learned this just based off of a Hampton property that I did. I knew the attorney of the city in Hampton very well. So, again, you're just making your connections. So, but land is a whole different beast too. If you do want to dive into it or know a little bit more, we can definitely do a CMA on land, so we can really get into the numbers of things. So you guys can confidently go into a land listing more confidently. Okay. Last thing I'm going to touch on today. Are we good with land right now? I know I didn't go into any specifics or numbers or generalizations of those, but that's kind of you're not dealing with any building size, right? You're dealing with the land use and how to go about that.
That was wonderful, ma'am.
Thank you.
That was great.
And
You
I
guys
was,
are- Thanks.
I was having some technical difficulties over here trying to move from my phone to my computer, and then it died, and I was just like, oh my God, okay.
It's recorded, girl. You're good. We're
I
recording.
caught it. I caught it all. I won't post it.
Oh, you're good, honey. Last thing we're going to touch over your renters. So you found on Facebook, someone says, hey, I need a rental in Norfolk. Trying to move in March. Need as soon as possible. I don't want to go over $1,200 in rent. Not utilities not included. Just make sure. I want a single family home. I guess I'm open to townhomes. And I have 2 dogs. Oh boy. So come up here to your dashboard, search, rental. All right, same thing. So we're just actively looking, right? We're not comparing, we're not having a seller. So this is where you would go if your seller wants to rent. Or if your owner, your friend says, hey, I just want to rent out my house. How much can I rent it for? Same thing. This is where you go. Click on your rented for the last 6 months. Subdivision. Where are we going? Give me a subdivision. Anybody got one?
I live in Maple Bay.
Did you say Nickelback?
No, I said I live in Maple Bay. That's the only one I can think of right now.
Sorry. Say Maple Bay.
Yeah.
Is that one word or two? Not coming up.
All right. Well.
Well, Maple Grove. Here we go, wherever that is. All right. Well, we don't have any matches. Dang it. Let's do Ghent. Woo, 75 matches.
The other day when you told me you had something going on in Ghent, please tell me why when I didn't think that, oh, that's just a subdivision somewhere. I Googled it and it's 5 hours away. It's some random place. And I was like, what is going on? She's not going 5 hours away. I was like, no, there's no way she's going there.
No, girl. Mm-mm. I won't even go to Carolina. I think the most I've driven for Carolina is like 2 hours. Not good. All right. So we'll do, they've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I don't know. How many square feet? 1,400. Let's do, and you're going to do the same for renting, right? You don't want your people to price it too much to where, okay, we're just going to leave the square footage out right now. See what we got. Because with renters, do you guys know how much you will advise your owners to rent for? How much do they need to make to successfully?
Oh, is it like 3 times or 2 times?
I mean, it could, but that's a good guess. It's a really good guess. That's ideal, right?
Right.
You do want to allot about $150 for repairs each month. So, you know, they say, hey, I pay $1,500 a month. They at least need to list, after paying their property manager, they at least need to list it, you know, $1,900. And hopefully they can, right? If they just want to rent it, if they don't care about making money, kind of advise them like, hey, that's not smart because things break. But that's the realm, right? We want to make sure that they're making money after paying their property manager. If they're going to, that's perfectly fine. They just need to make at least $150 to $200 a month for possible repairs.
Okay.
Just remind them, hey, things break. So for this one, again, kind of went off track here. But I just wanted you guys to see, you know, if someone comes to you and says, how much can I get my place rented for? Again, take into effect what they've done to the property, how much they're currently paying, how much they want to make, if they will allow pets, you know, kind of the dynamic of that. Do they want a 6-month lease? Do they want someone for multiple years and not have to worry about it? So those are things that you can set in here if you go kind of the property management route. But, so this one price rented, one's a condo and one's a single family home. So you've got your range, right? So your single family home went for $1,650. Your condo that's almost 400 square feet smaller went for $1,450. So it's just knowing your area, knowing what you can really get for it. There's no such thing as someone coming in and saying, well, you can't get that for that. Yes, I can. If someone's going to pay it, you can. So, but you kind of want to go off of the average because people do their research too. So that's my little tidbit on someone is asking you to help with pricing their home
What
to
if
rent.
somebody just wants to rent? They wouldn't come to us, right? To just
Unless you want to be a property manager. If you want to be a property masters,
Hell no.
it's not my cup of tea. Can't do it. Won't do it. Did it one time. Not built for it. I praise all of you that do property management. I cannot sleep at night.
oh, wow.
I just one situation I had was the tenant called me at 9 o'clock at night, and I answer because I answer my phone. And I mean, I didn't answer at first, right? And I'm like, it's after hours. No, they kept calling, and I said, Kara, we smell something. We think it's a dead rat. I'm like, ugh. Something you can't really ignore.
Mm-hmm.
Like if their heat goes out, it's a necessity. So we call Orkin, the owner was a really good friend of mine, and she's like, do what you got to do. Gave me that amount that I can approve. Had Orkin come out because the renters. So with rentals, renter has renter's insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Renter is responsible, and renter also needs to keep pest on the house.
Right.
So she did. So that's why we called Orkin. Orkin was she was Orkin's client. So Orkin came out $4,000 to do new insulation, something else that they did, removal of the carcass, whatever. My client's like, that's on you. As in the owner. And she was right. That is her responsibility. But
Yeah.
the tenant wanted her to pay for a hotel to put them up in and all this stuff. And it's like, this is why I don't do property management, because this is where all of your tenant rights come into play, anything of that nature. So don't dabble too much in it. And say, hey, if you're going to be out of state, get a property manager. I can give you a good property manager. And when you guys refer people to any of the property managers at our property masters, you get a referral.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then when that client comes back to you and says, hey, I actually want to sell my house now, then they just give it back.
Okay.
Yep. Done it a couple times. It's funny because the house that I was property managing, I pushed over to property masters, and now it's getting pushed back to me because she's like, I just want to sell it. I'm like, okay.
Well, at least you know a lot about it already.
Mm-hmm. All right, back on track. Last thing. So search, rental. Someone comes to you, hey, Kara, I want to rent in Norfolk. We're going to highlight all of Norfolk because she wasn't specific. And again, control. Want to deselect or select anything, you hold down control. You want to, so she's open to townhomes, single family. Look at that, townhouse, single family. Boom. Does not want to spend over $1,200. $1,200 minus. We've got 4 matches, y'all, and that's all I'm going to look at. But the most important thing, if they have a pet, so pet restrictions right here. I click all of these. So pet deposit, pet fee, pet rent, pet restrictions. And we say, we keep it on or, because that means this person will allow a pet, but say Sally Mae won't allow a dog over 20 pounds, and it might say that in the description, but you can't, there is no criteria to eliminate that one, right? So 4 matches. So just want to show you. So if I click no pets and I click not, it gives you the same 4 matches. So you could do either way, but sometimes if they don't mark no pets or if they've marked just a pet additional deposit, you just get different results. So I like to click everything here, because if they're publicizing, if they're putting their property out there on the market saying, hey, I will allow a pet, you want to make sure that that's properly marked. So we click our results, and so this top one, it's a multi-unit. What is that one? Well, I clicked townhouse, right? Oh, single family, excuse me. The lease type, multi-year. Okay. Say someone's like, hey, I'm looking for a seasonal. There's not a lot of seasonal properties listed here on the MLS. There's just not. So kind of advise them to do their due diligence as well. And if you want to take on that with them, searching other web pages for seasonal rentals, go that way. And there's a couple of websites that you can do there. But again, that's a whole lot of work for a little finder's fee. Totally your call though. So they just want to be in here for a year, single family home. Let's click this second one. Okay, making sure possession is immediate. Cool. We're going to find that at the top. Make sure all this is correct. $1,200 is your rental price. It's vacant, so that's easy. If they wanted to go and view it, you want to make sure that you're with them. Very important for you guys, finder's fee amount, 20% of a first month's rent. Okay. Information for your client, customer. Application fee, $50. Okay. So as long as they know, hey, it's going to cost me $50 to apply if I want to apply, and they can view it, they cannot view it, whatever the case is. If they just need a house, tell them, go apply. Your features, your pet restrictions are right here. So pet deposit additional, and there's pet restrictions. So they let you know, hey, we're going to take pets, but we're going to take a certain type of pet. And normally it says in the agent remarks for you. Then this is why you're important for that renter, because you see the public remarks. It doesn't tell you anything. So please adhere to mask distancing, refrain from touching. Let's see, certified funds, right? So that's important for this potential tenant to know how to apply, submit application. And a lot of times this is where they tell you security deposit paid at time of application and rent is paid at move-in. Okay, cool. That's something that you need to tell them if they're interested, right? A lot of the properties rented on the MLS they can apply online, and they will include the website in the agent remarks for you, so you can pass that on to your client. Just copy and paste, say, hey, click here, this is where you apply. Lot easier. Some of them still are old school, and it sounds like this one, they either need to go to this office to apply, or and that's when you say, hey, call Christy. So this is listing office phone. This is listing agent's phone. So this is her cell phone. This is her office phone. Or if they say contact listing agent 2, this is his cell phone. Okay. So client says, cool, it matches. I don't know. Can you find out what the pet restrictions are? Sure. A quick call or text to these people and say, hey, what's the pet restrictions? Is it for this property? When can I show it? Blah, blah, blah. And that's really like this of it when you want, and it's the same thing, right? So we're going criteria. These are the only things that match. Let me get this out of the way. So we're going back to our results. Oh, sorry. Line results. Remember, click all. So this, ladies and gentlemen, will save your life for auto email. This is for any search you do. Yes, I'm on the rental one. That's fine. Click all. It will highlight all. So if you've got multiple pages that appear. So here's the difference. If you click this one right up here, it only clicks that page. If you click all, it will, if you've got multiple pages, it'll click include all of them. Okay. Go to save. New auto email. Life saver. That's what it should be called. Okay, plug in your client's info. Now do the thing. And it just, it gives you blurbs too. So it'll tell you if someone has opted out of these emails before. It'll say if they've opted out or marked it spam or something. And if that's the case, tell your client. It'll advise you here in this little box what to do. So I've had a client one time, she opted out because she was getting too many emails, right? She didn't tell me to change it. So I told her there was instructions that popped up here on this box, and it said, hey, email this email and say, hey, I want to be opted back in. It didn't work. So just keep on your clients to say, do not mark this spam, do not mark this. If you want it to stop or give you like every morning update or something, I can change it. So just communicate with them that, hey, this is a great opportunity because of, the market that we're in. But if you don't want to get bombarded with emails, tell me to change it instead of opting out, because it's not junk. So make sure you include this subject line. And what I normally do is I include what they've told me. So I'm looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, under 1,200 square feet, single family home in Norfolk. That's going to be my subject. So they know that it's from me, or you can include your name in there or your rental search for blah, 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 whatever you want to do. And then read through this, make sure it makes sense. Make sure if you want to advise them a little bit more, you can. So again, this is for your buyers as well. So daily, right now, it automates your schedule to do daily in the AM emails. Please change it to as soon as possible. If your client is in dire need, it will email them that property that matches their criteria within 15 minutes. Should be quicker, but within 15 minutes, that's what I tell my people of hitting the market. Okay, so if you want to be kept in on the loop of what they get, because sometimes they'll be on the go, right? And they'll say, hey, your email you just sent me, I like that one. What are you talking about? Because you didn't send it. It was auto emailed. So blind, you can either copy yourself or blind copy. Just know that your email will blow up too, because they get emails of new criteria and any criteria that matches anything that's changed with those listings. Okay, so keep that in mind. If your client's like, yeah, I want to be in the know look, monthly. You can do monthly, you can do daily, as soon as possible. So just make sure you know when this person needs to be in their rental, needs to be in their house, so they get these as soon as possible. And then, of course, just save, and your life is changed forever. Any questions? Is there anything for me right now?
Nope.
Does
Nope.
everybody understand the finder's fee?
Yep.
Okay. Just want to make sure. And you get that once, and always be in communication with that agent too, right? That's listing it. Say, hey, just want to let you know so-and-so is going to be applying. Let me know when you receive that application. And a lot of them are really good about it. It's very surprising. They're really good about keeping you informed, and they really appreciate the agents that upload their show, because so it's a rental showing disclosure that is for you and your customer, client, whatever you want to call them, to sign, and says, Mike Johnson showed me such and such property on such and such date that is listed for this price, and the finder's fee is this amount. So it really it lines out everything for you, and you send that to the agent, and they have to sign it as well. And then make sure you have our office W-9 saved on file, because then you will save that, because that is how you get paid. If they do not have that, they have nowhere to send the money. So just keep that in mind. And then you will get paid from the first month's rent. So keep that in mind as well. If your client is moving in April, you're not going to see that. You're not going to get a phone call from Carla or Caitlin that says, hey, you got money here. It's going to take a while. So,
Right.
Anything else, y'all? Did I sound
No,
like-
I'm good. I'll
Oh, yeah.
reach out if I have any.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming today. Next time, give me your feedback. Email me some feedback and what you guys kind of want to see for next one. Because we could keep talking about the same stuff, but I don't want to do that to you guys. I want you guys to continue to learn and grow. So tell me some things that you kind of want to learn or kind of want to go more in depth with, and we'll do that next time. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Cool.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Naz. I'll
Thank
see
you.
you all later. If you need anything, call me.
Okay,
Will do.
bye.
Bye, y'all.